People of God. We are here yet again on another bright sunny day full of purpose, passion, victory. I tell you, we are finding ourselves within uh, that heavenly factory of victory. I tell you, where the employees are the angels, and I tell you, they're putting our victories and our blessings on the assembly line, and they're coming out to us one by one, household by household. I tell you, and they're going to be knocking and opening the door to give you what it is that God has blessed you with. And I tell you, we are being given faith forevermore, hope that is unquestionable, power that can't be taken, discernment, I tell you, that's coming from the throne room of our Father, that will help us to discern between the good and the bad, the sheep and the goats, between right and wrong. And I tell you, it's a blessing to still have that type of headspace mentality about yourself in a world that thrives off of ignorance, and making sure that they project the certain type of images that cause our young ones and the next generation to believe. You have to be as ignorant as possible to be as successful as possible. It is the furthest thing from the truth. I know we're dealing with a lot. We got voter suppression, racial discrimination. We're dealing with police brutality. We're dealing with the suppression of the black come up. We're dealing with the resurgence of white supremacy. There's a lot at our door. And through the record label that I started, Red Tears Music, we're looking to make sure that we can deliver as it pertains to causing activism to come in a setting that embodies music that promotes the message that our brothers and our sisters are pushing out on a day-to-day basis, stumping the yard and making sure that they let the world know that in spite of the brothers and the sisters of our people that have been shot down and lives lost way too soon, we are still on schedule to be victorious in God. And we still have a voice that will not just find its resting place on someone's t-shirt or flag or a hat. We are going to be very visible in these last and evil days, and to make sure that we do more than just scream out what it is that we want, but actually watch some things take place, put foot to pavement to make sure that things come to pass as God would want them to. So we know that we serve a God of action and not just a God of words. And so I'm doing my best to be partaker in that project, to make sure that I lead by example in the presence of my people. And through my record label called Red Tears Music, we're looking to do just that, with the new release of the song called Soldier, that speaks to a lot of the ups and downs that we encounter on a day-to-day basis as being artists full of creativity, talent, and promise. But yet, we have the threat of conservatorship that's taking place. I don't know if you heard the latest from Brittany Spears, who's, was, I guess, pretty much the first to speak about it, speak about how her life has been controlled, her finances has been controlled, telling her that she cannot marry and have children because of the conservatorship that's taking place, not just in her life, but in the life of many other artists, actors, and intellectuals that, have been told that they have to come through a certain loophole to be successful. And some of these things that take place, just as they have, come upon Britney Spears, these are some of the requirements, I guess, for a lot of the, artists and intellectuals in Hollywood, hot buttons, if you will, for lack of a better term or a name. This is something that they have to adhere to. And nevertheless, while it is something that they say for some artists has actually saved their life because they were quite loose and, they needed that intervention, But then there are other artists that have been pretty well off and didn't need someone coming to them to tell them you can't start a family because of the conservatorship. You can't spend a certain amount of money because of the conservatorship. And so I pray that through the record label Red Tears Music, we will begin to pull the cap off of the level of freedom and liberty and justice that God said was supposed to be for all. What type of world would we live in if we woke up every day as, blessed, Holy Ghost-filled creatives, people who were being directed by the voice of God to do what it is that they do and follow their purpose successfully to the platform of success? What kind of world would it be like if we had those limitations put behind us and were able to come forth and in the good faith of letting those that believe they have to place those heavy requirements on us for us to be successful? What kind of world would it be if we were able to push back against that type of treatment and let them know that between God and myself, we got this? You understand? You don't have to stop me from being a human being outside of what I do professionally simply because you are afraid it will destroy your dollars and your investment, whatever that may be, in my craft, into me as an artist or intellectual or politician, you name it. I think this type of backlash, has been claiming the freedoms and liberties of people across the board that we see on a daily basis on television. And so through Red Tears Music, my Red Tears Music label, we're looking to deliver a message that will prayerfully help to change the minds of those who stand at the gates of decision for other people, most of which have shown not only those around them, but the rest of the world, that they can handle success and they don't need someone to put a cap on their finances and on their ability to do what God commanded us to do as men and women, and that is to be fruitful and multiply, to create families, and to be victorious in supporting them and rearing them in the ways of the Lord. And so I tell you, going forward, look out for the song that I just released called Soldier. It is a song that speaks to some of the ups and downs that we encounter as artists and people who, run the gamut in Hollywood. Those who are looking, to embark upon a successful career in singing, music production, acting, but yet have been faced with a certain level of requirements that infringe upon their God-given liberties. And so we want to make sure we come against those things that deter us away from being all that God has wanted us to be. And so I pray that through the music that I release, it will not only bring attention to some of the relational values that we have to revitalize between husband and wife, boy and girl, between black and white, between right and wrong. I pray that it also will highlight some of the fights that have come against us as a people while we fight, yet in 2021, still fighting for freedom and liberty and justice for all. And so as I come to a close in this video, look out for the song. It's on YouTube right now on my YouTube page, Cecil Ward, or you can track the song on SoundCloud on my page labeled A Sound Man, and the song is called Soldier. It is there amid other songs that I've done in the past, but I'm looking to bring forth songs that are message oriented, that speak into the direction of regaining our self-confidence and protecting our images and gaining ground on the identity that God has given us, and taking full ownership of how we project what it is that we project in the world, and making sure that we do our best to make sure that what we project will be something that will be in heavy rotation years after we're gone, that will still be performing the will and the way of our God, and bringing our people into a heightened sense of awareness, to where you can now be, informed and have your mind sparked by certain words and messaging that will encourage you and not take from you, and not make you feel like the best is not yet to come. I was always told everyone that goes through needs to know that they have a neighbor. And I tell you, long gone sometimes I feel all the days when we were proud that it took a village to raise a child, to look after your brother and your sister. And so I pray that we will be able to get back to those days as we look to gain more momentum on stabilizing the stand that we are to take for our people, to bring justice unto the concerns that we have in this day and time. I am excited about what took place in Atlanta, how the Attorney General and the Assistant Attorney General have sued the state of Georgia for coming against their God-given right to vote without fear of reprisal, without restriction. And I was very glad to hear that they are putting their best foot forward to stop what is taking place. It seems like on every level they're trying to stop us as a people from being the best that we can be, from making a mark in this world. And it seems that they always come to stop us from doing it legally. They can't wait for us to buckle down and lose our grip and throw away our moral compass. They can't wait for us to do it illegally, in that sense. But it just seems like they come out of the woodworks to come against us when we desire to do it the way the law said we are supposed to do it. And for people of color, the fight continues, but so does our divine intervention, our faith, and the salvation from our God that He's still working out on our behalf. So I tell you, I'm encouraged. Look out for brand new beginnings that will yield unto our people new opportunities to not just be heard, but to put the resources around those people that are looking to be heard, that will help them to build better foundations that other generations can stand on years later down the line. For the fight is upon us. We are aware of this. But I tell you, it's nothing new in the eyesight of God. He knew all of this was coming years before it took place. And I believe, just as He said, with every temptation, He'll provide a way of escape. I believe that with the current trials that we are facing, God has already provided a way of escape. So, bringing glory to God, I must say, I thank Him. I'm so glad that my life was saved. So glad that He called me while in my mother's womb to do what it is that I desire to do now. I'm so glad that He's given me the hunger and the call to do it, so that I do not go out just grabbing at straws and wanting to do something that looks nice, but may not have an eternal reward attached to it. You understand? So it's so important that we move in purpose, because what we do now will echo into eternity. All right? So be blessed this day. Look out for Red Tears Music. It is activism set to music in the most blessed way possible. Keep your eyes and ears open for the move of God, because he is still making house visits. All right? Be encouraged this day. Look out for us. Be blessed.